medical issues. That was a theme that we saw throughout this NFL weekend, really, with head coaches and health issues. And that is going to be the first thing we tackle in First Down here, because the Broncos, who are having such a wonderful season, they're going to be without John Fox for some period of time. Gary, we'll start with you on First Down. What does it mean to the Denver Broncos to be without John Fox here?
Well, I always feel that NFL head coaches are the most important coaches or managers in all of sports. But when you look at the Broncos right now, you know, Peyton Manning really runs the offense, and Jack Del Rio, who's the interim head coach, has been with John Fox in Carolina and now at Denver, so he knows exactly, you know, how John likes to run his team. I think the Broncos are good enough to get by this this period of time now without John Fox. You know, one thing I do want to point out, in 1998, Dan Reeves had a heart procedure when the Falcons were 12-2. They went on to finish 14-2. Dan missed the last two regular season games and the divisional round of the playoffs, came back for the NFC Championship game, which the Falcons won, and they went on to lose the Super Bowl to Denver. So if you have a good infrastructure in place, I think for a short period of time, you can survive without your leader.
You know,
where's the whistle,
yeah, well,
by
this
the
is
way?
what I was going to say, is there is a whistle usually, but given the really valuable information you just gave us.
Historical perspective here.
I mean, you gave us historical perspective. It is a sensitive subject matter, obviously. So, yeah, okay. So that's why you didn't get the whistle there, Gary. That was good stuff, actually. Ross, go ahead on First Down.
Yeah, I'll make up for Gary, and I'll just say I think this will affect them. Now, they're good enough that they'll still probably split the games that John Fox is out, but I think having Jack Del Rio is a problem. Jack Del Rio needs to focus on the defense. The defense really isn't all that great right now. Now you're adding even more to his plate, which is less time for Del Rio on the defensive side of the ball. I think this hurts the Broncos.
That's a good point.
Hey, guys, keep in mind, you know, Sean Payton last year leaving the team and what happened to the Saints. Your head coach is a very valuable part of your team. He does more than just be a figurehead. He affects all the players on the team. And when Jack Del Rio stops coaching defense, and they'll say he's not stopped coaching defense and stop making calls, but take some of that attention away from the defense and spreads it around the team, the defense will suffer. The offense is Peyton Manning, I get it, but the defense will need Jack Del Rio's attention. 2
of 3 here are going to say that it will affect the Broncos in some way. We'll see what Jack Del Rio can do with this Denver squad. Just one loss thus far this season. Moving on to second down. How about Nick Foles? 7 touchdown passes this weekend. First quarterback in NFL history to have 7 touchdown passes before the fourth quarter even began. Ross, who is the real Nick Foles?
I think he's more like the guy we saw on Sunday than the guy we saw against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's a very good player. I think, contrary to popular opinion, he does fit Chip Kelly's offense. I think he will start the rest of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles and play at a pretty high level.
Gary?
Well, what's impressive about Foles, really, is he hasn't thrown an interception this year. I know he hasn't played full time. But, you know, when he came in for Michael Vick in the first Giants game, I thought he played really well in the second half of the season. He didn't play well against Dallas. Now he comes back after the concussion, throws those 7 touchdowns. I get to disagree with Ross somewhat. I think Chip Kelly's offense demands a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, and Foles is not that way. I'm not sure he's the long-term answer for Philadelphia.
Howard, what do you think? Who is the real Nick Foles?
I think Nick Foles, when you're playing in a 7-on-7 type offense, when you played against the Giants with 7-on-7, nobody hits the quarterback. You play against the Raiders, nobody hits the quarterback. You play against Dallas, people hit the quarterback. When people hit the quarterback, you see who Nick Foles really is. That's going to be what you're going to see with Nick Foles. Again, you don't hit him, you find open receivers. You do hit him, he's just like everybody else.
Moving on to third down. And this one is a question that really will create variety in the answers, I think. The best defensive player in football right now. We'll begin with you, Howard. Who is the best defensive player in the NFL at this moment?
This is for Troy Benjamin, our producer. Wilkerson from the Jets. The guy's doing a great job. I love the hula dance. I love the pressure up the middle. I say always that the pressure up the middle stops most things. Stops the run, stops the quarterback from stepping up and throwing passes. It does the most. And I'm telling you, Wilkerson right now from the Jets, Troy, does the best for me as a defensive player.
You see, Howard hasn't won 4 downs in a few weeks, so he's trying to cater to the judge.
It's not going to work.
I'm not catering. I'm going right to Troy.
How about the fact that him pulling a homer move because, you know, he played for the Giants. He's trying to gain favor with the Jets.
In the New York audience and with our producer, that was slick right there. Who do you have, Ross?
Muhammad Wilkerson's excellent, and there's a lot of good choices, but J.J. Watt's still the best defensive player in the NFL. Now, here's what happens. When you play for a struggling team or the team doesn't reach expectations, we forget about those guys. For any awards like this, we push them aside. But if you watch him play, he's playing about as well as he did last year when he was clearly the best defensive player in the league.
You know, I'm going to go with Richard Sherman of the Seahawks. Not only is the best quote in the league, which I always appreciate.
I'm sure you do.
I think through the first half of the season, he's the best defensive player. Has 4 interceptions. The Seahawks have the #2 ranked pass defense. They've got a great secondary. They're impossible to throw on. Richard Sherman's my choice.
All right, here we go to 4th down. And the quarterback you would most want to have on your team if you are down late in the game. Ross, who's your quarterback?
Right now, I think I have to go with Russell Wilson. I mean, he's done it several times. I love the mobility for that situation late in the game. Plus, he's not exactly throwing the household names right now, and he's still getting it done.
Gary?
That's a very simple answer. I'll give it in 2 words. Tom Brady.
Wow. I'm going to say Andrew Luck. I want a young guy that's going to have a little bit of ability to run the ball and a little bit of ability to throw the ball, and he's going to be able to take a beating because when you're down by 3 or 4 touchdowns, you're going to get hit a lot, and you need a guy who's going to be able to get up off the mat again and again and throw the ball.
10 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter or overtime for Andrew Luck, the most ever for a quarterback through his first 2 seasons in the NFL, and I just have it into me. Howard Cross, he played to the judge, and he came up a winner. Congratulations, Howard.
As long as it wasn't, you know, Gary with his filibuster, I'm okay.
Gary, no. Gary finished 3rd today. And Howard is indeed teaching us again that sucking up to the judge sometimes can be a good thing.